Hi, Randy Graham here with everydropmatters.org, located in Champaign, Illinois in the United States. We distribute clean water technology around the world for those in need. If you're watching this video, it could be that you received one of our EP Purification MP1 units. What I want to tell you today is how to operate it, and very briefly, how to repair it in the field so you don't have to send it all the way back to us to be repaired. So the unit composed of just a few parts. You've got the main box here where ambient air is converted into ozone. Ozone is 3 oxygen molecules joined together, and they're a very powerful agent for sanitation. First you have the power supply. It plugs in right here. You have a hose that's very ozone resistant, so you don't want to use any other type of hose than the ones you get from us. From there, the ozone travels through a check valve here so that water that you're purifying can't go backwards into the unit and cause damage. Then you have a diffuser, and this breaks the ozone into very tiny bubbles so that it has greater surface areas and more effective at attacking harmful bacteria and purifying the water. So normally in the field we'll see bottles of water such as this one, 3 to 5 gallons. If the water is clear, this purifier will purify about 1 liter per minute, so roughly 1 gallon or 4 liters per every 4 minutes, so 5 gallons in about 20 minutes. So let me turn this on. As long as your power supply is working, you will hear the unit kind of buzzing. What you're hearing is the little pump inside of there, which is pulling in air, breaking apart the oxygen 2 molecules and combining 3 oxygen atoms to make O3. Then you can see that our diffuser here is causing those bubbles coming out of the unit to be broken up into very tiny bubbles, and that way it's more effective at purifying the water. So while I've got it on, let me talk about things that could go wrong. This is a very robust unit. In fact, my wife and I have been running a unit in our house for over 7 years on a daily basis, and we've never had a problem with it at all. However, we don't use it aggressively, we don't move it around, it's not bumped or jostled, and so your field experience may be a little bit different. And also over time, components can wear out, and we'll talk about that in a minute when I get inside of it. Basically, if you've got bubbles forming, then you know your air pump is working, you obviously have power supply, and you should be getting water purification. But if you've got air bubbles and you don't smell ozone, like right now I have the distinctive smell of ozone, which is kind of like the smell that you'll have after lightning has struck close to your home, because lightning actually creates ozone in nature, and it has a very acrid, distinct smell. So if I have bubbles but no smell, chances are my chip inside here has gone bad. Now if I don't have bubbles at all, chances are the air pump has gone bad. So all we have to do to get inside of this is, first of all, turn it off, unplug it from the power supply. You always want to make sure you do that first. And then we just need to take this cover off using a small Phillips type screwdriver. So I have one of the larger small ones, but small to medium, and then I will take this off and we'll be back in a moment. Now that the unit is unplugged from the power and the cord, let's take a look inside and discuss what's in here. You rarely have any problem with the on and off button, rarely have any problem with the power supply connector, almost never have had any problems with the motherboard, and virtually never have any problems with this little fan that just cools the inside of the unit. In fact, we rarely have problems at all, but we know with extended use, eventually components will wear out. The 2 components that are most likely to wear out is the ozone creating chip here and the air pump here. So let me show you real quickly how to remove and replace these parts. Keep in mind that everything in here is really proprietary. Like you see this blue hose connecting the air pump to the chip. You can't just replace that with any kind of a rubber hose because ozone is so reactive, it will make most other components, other materials, brittle, and they will leak. So you have to get this blue hose from us, either EP Purification or Eden Park Foundation or whoever your original supplier was. Don't use anything else. The other thing to remember is that while I have this open and it's unplugged, there are no capacitors in here that can give you any kind of a dangerous shock. So it's safe to work on once you've disconnected it from the power supply and opened it up. Eden Park has designed this really well for replacing parts. This is a spring-loaded clamp here, so if I need to replace the pump, I'll take a sharp knife, such as one of these, and I will slice a slit in this blue hose. Now I'm not going to actually slice it, but you need a very sharp knife, but it's rubbery type substance and it will slit, and you want to slit it lengthwise here, and then you want to peel it back from the nipple that's holding it in place. You want to avoid trying to pull these things apart because the main weak point is where the nipple is attached to the chip here, and if you would actually pull against that, you could separate it from the chip. And if you found out later that the chip wasn't bad, then you've just ruined a good chip. So that's why I encourage you to be careful when you are working on this. But once you have that slitted, this component just simply pops out of the spring-loaded position here, and you can peel it back, take it off. This has one little connector over here that just simply pops off, and you can put the new pump in, put a new piece of hose in here, snap it into place like so, and put your little wires back in place. So that's replacement of the air pump. The other component that will eventually wear out is this microplasma chip right here. This is really the heart and soul of this unit. This is what converts ambient air into ozone. So if you have bubbles coming out but you don't have the distinctive ozone smell, and once you have a unit like this, it will be no mistaking. If you don't have any smell, then this chip is not converting this air into ozone. You'll know then that the chip has a problem. So in that case, you would slit both of these blue tubes from end to end on both sides. And again, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to disable this unit. And then all you would do is open these clamps like so, all the way, and you can just pull the power out. And that's what you want to do, is just carefully peel the hose back from the little stem that is holding the chip so that you don't pull it. You don't want to pull it. Once you've slit it, you can peel it off very easily. Then you would just simply lift the chip out of this position and replace it with your new chip. Reconnect these wires like so, clamp it down, make sure that it's firm. You would tuck these in, and then your unit should be ready to go once again. So that's really all there is to repairing this unit in the field. And the reason we're wanting to do that in the field is rather than take these units that are sent all over the world and have to ship them back to the United States or whatever source can work on them, if we can just send these components into the field, then it's much less expensive, much less storage for the components, and it's very easy for people to repair them on site and have the unit back and running in no time at all. Thank you for watching. I'm Randy from everydropmatters.org. Remember, when operating an ozone unit, always use it either outdoors or in a very well ventilated area, because ozone is a harmful gas and you don't want to breathe a lot of it. Thank you for listening to this very simple tutorial on how to operate and repair the EP Purification MP1 unit in the field. I'm Randy Graham with everydropmatters.org. We're a charity sending these units and others around the world to people in need.